What's going on, guys? It's Justin from Push and Profit. Hope everyone's having a beautiful day today. Now today in this video I want to go over a few best practices that help improve your credit score, because we all know how important having good credit in life is. So if your score is below 680, then definitely make sure to walk through this entire video, because this video is made for you. And if you don't make any effort to start working on improving your score now, it's going to end up costing you more in the long run, and no one wants to pay extra for no reason. For example, if you don't have a good credit score and you don't take the time to fix it, you're going to be charged extra or higher interest on things like getting a car loan, or things like getting a mortgage, etc., right? And that's honestly the best case scenario, because sometimes with a low credit score, you might not even be able to get approved for these types of things, these loans and whatnot, right? Which can suck, because what happens if you get tired of paying a rent and want to go into buying a house, so that you can build wealth and start paying into something that's going to be yours eventually. But then you get told that your credit score isn't good enough, and then you have to be forced to pay rent. That sucks. That's terrible. Now, even if you had late payments or you've been placed on collections, these strategies that I'm going to be covering in this video is still going to be able to help you. So don't be discouraged if you think that there isn't any option or hope for you. Now, keep in mind that your credit score isn't going to drastically change overnight, right? These are going to be some things that take, a little bit of time, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months. But believe me, it's going to be absolutely worth it. So the first step you should take is to run your credit report and see exactly what's bringing it down. Now, there's a few places you could check this out for free. All you have to do is type in Google, to run your credit score for free. Now, I personally use Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, but you could also use another option like annualcreditreport.com, which you're entitled to get a free credit report from them every year. So just pick one of those options and review your credit report, right? Now, after you review your credit report, go ahead and look for anything that's impacting your score negatively. Now, there's a couple of reasons or things that could bring down your score, right? Now, the first might simply be because you don't have enough credit history. So basically, if you haven't had enough proof that you're able to take on debt and repay it back, then it's unlikely that you're gonna have a large credit score. Now, that's the case, and maybe you want to look into getting a secured credit card, or maybe just a regular credit card, and use it responsibly by making payments on time. Right now, someone with not enough credit history would most likely be someone younger, because most people by the age of 25 have already established some sort of credit. So if you fall under that category, then definitely check out the secured credit card, or maybe just a regular credit card. Now, the next reason why you might have a low credit score, which can impact anyone of any age, is by having late payments, right? Or even worse, late payments, right? Plural with an S. And this can have a negative effect on your credit score for approximately 7 years, kind of like when you break a mirror and get bad luck for 7 years. So yeah, it could be bad. It could be bad. Now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about how to help your credit score if you do have late payments later on in this video. But for right now, let's just continue going down the list on what to check for. Now, another reason your credit score might be down could be from being placed on collections, right? And if you see this, then things are kind of looking bad. And this happens when you have such a late payment that the lender or company ends up giving up on you and ends up writing out a total loss, and then sells that debt to a third-party collection agency who buys the debt off the original lender for pennies on the dollar, and then tries to still collect the original amount owed by you. So I'll go more into that later now, but let's go ahead and keep moving forward. So next, look out for maxed out credit. For example, if you see that you use the credit all the way to its highest limit, that's going to show you you're borrowing as much money as possible and aren't paying down the balance. So if this is the case, then keep in mind that your credit utilization, or in other words, how much you borrow compared to the maximum amount you can borrow, will reflect about 30% of your actual credit score. So this is really important. Easy to fix, really important though, right? Now, fifth is to check if you have any foreclosures or bankruptcies on your credit report. Now, obviously, you would definitely know about this way beforehand, hopefully, right? It wouldn't come as a surprise, hopefully. But there are times where maybe identities are stolen, or things are just misreported. So of course, it's always worth it to go ahead and check to see if everything on your credit report is looking it's looking accurate, it's looking good. So once you already looked over your credit score, we'll start out with what you can do if you have any late payments, right? We'll start off with that. Now, like I said, they do stay on your credit report for about 7 years, and are applied once you are 30 days late on your payment. So if you had an auto loan payment due on the 1st, but you ended up paying it 10 days late, chances are it's not going to reflect as a late payment or count against you. And the worst case scenario is that the lender might charge you a late fee. However, if it's your first time being late by a few days, the majority of the time you could just call and waive the fee by simply asking. But after those 30 days, you'll your chances are higher that's going to be going on your credit report, and that does have a big impact because late payments account for 35% of your credit score. So late payments are important to cover and take very seriously. Now, if you have a late payment, please be aware that the later the payment is, the worse it gets. So being late by 90 days is going to be much, much worse than being late for 60 days. Now, if you do fall in this category, then the first thing to do is pay off any late payments as soon as possible, because like I said, it only gets worse the longer you wait to pay. And if you fail to pay by 180 days, that's when it's going to be sent to collections and make matters even worse, right? Now, if paying it off isn't an easy option, understand, sometimes you just simply can't pay it off. Consider getting in contact with the lender and see if you can negotiate a payment plan or removal of the late payment. Now, you may think that these companies or lenders or whatever wouldn't budge, but the thing is they would rather work out some type of deal to get paid than never receiving their payment from you and taking a loss by selling it to collections. So they're most likely willing to work out a plan with you, believe me. Now, if you're already finished making that late payment and it's still showing on your credit report, then go ahead and give the company or the lender a call and ask if they could remove the late payment for you. Now, if they're not obligated to remove it, keep in mind, but it is worth a shot and you don't lose anything in trying. Now, again, if any of that fails, then look for inaccuracies on your credit report and then dispute it. Right now, quick disclaimer, do not lie about inaccuracies ever, but if you do find some errors, you could dispute the late payments as inaccurate, and if the company cannot prove all the evidence is indeed correct, it will then be absolutely removed from your credit report, which will absolutely make a big difference in your credit score over the next few weeks or maybe next few months. It doesn't, really take that much time to do. So once you knock out those late payments, next let's talk about accounts and collections. So just like late payments having something, a bad impact on your credit score, collections on your credit report can last up to 7 years. Now, when this happens, usually that's when things start getting, that's when you start getting those calls from those people on the phone saying that you owe them money. Or if they aren't calling you, then, they're probably like just sending a bunch of mail, like multiple letters in the mail saying that you owe them. Now, the first thing you should try is to dispute it and see if you see any errors. So if you see any errors on the debt collector, you can ask if they could validate the proof that it was you who owed the money. And the good thing is about this is that typically when you go to collections, your debt is sold off and exchanged through multiple debt collectors along the line, and most likely there will be an error that you could take advantage of, and that way you could have it like absolutely wiped off, which will tremendously help out your credit score. Now, I like that option better because it allows you to fix your credit after it's been damaged by being in collections without ever even paying off the debt that you owe. However, if there aren't any errors, then another option would be to negotiate to see if you could maybe pay half the debt and have them remove it from your credit report. Now, the reason why debt collectors are willing to make a deal like this is because when they buy the debt from the original company or lender, they often buy it at fractions of what the actual debt was. So if you work out a deal to only pay half of what you owe in exchange for removing this off your credit report, the debt collectors are still making a profit and are happy to do this deal. So for example, let's say you were $10,000 in debt from a medical bill and you never made a payment. Then the company they gave up trying to collect the money from you, and they sell the debt to a debt collector for maybe $1,000. So you owed $10,000, you never paid them. They're tired of like reaching out to you, so they sell it to a debt collector for $1,000. Then the debt collector buys this debt for $1,000, hoping that if they harass you enough, that you will end up paying that $10,000 back, making them like a profit of $9,000. But let's say you negotiate with them and you agree to pay for $4,000 to remove this debt. They will most likely still take the deal because they only paid $1,000 for that debt. And if you pay them $4,000, they're still making a $3,000 profit from just buying debt. So it's always worth it to take a shot to do this. Now, if you just pay off your debt from a debt collector without making a deal and, just absolutely just pay off the full balance, it's not going to really help out your credit score because sometimes it's still going to show on your credit report that you were still sent to collections. So if that's the case, once you pay off the debt from the debt collector, you could still go ahead and file a dispute with the credit card reporting agencies or credit reporting agencies, sorry, and they will try to validate the debt from the collection agency, right? And at that point, the debt collectors really don't have any financial incentive to respond back to that dispute, which will cause you to win that dispute. Now, the reason they won't, even respond to that dispute is because after you paid them, they don't care. They don't care about you, like not one bit, right? So if it's still showing on your credit report that you were in collections, and then you kind of dispute it, and they get that message, they're not gonna, respond because they're like, I don't care. I honestly don't care. We got the money from him or her. Like, it honestly doesn't matter, right? So you get to win that dispute and have that taken off your credit report, which will definitely help out your score by a lot. Next, if you have any maxed out accounts on your credit report that's hurting your score, don't worry, because this is actually a really easy fix. So the best thing to do is just pay down your credit card so that they are below the threshold of the average 10% utilization. Now, the reason why using too much of your credit hurts is because they want to see that you can borrow money responsibly and not have to rely so much on borrowed money. So by paying down your debt, it's going to immediately improve your scores. Now, if you can't pay down those accounts to bring down your threshold of your credit utilization below the 10%, then a strange but odd way of fixing this is by honestly saying, and I honestly mean this is strange, right? Really odd. But if you open up new credit lines and have more credit available to you, it will increase the amount of credit that you can borrow and make the amount that you are already borrowing much lower. So if you have a max about like $10,000 in credit, but you're already borrowing $3,000, then you're using 30% of your credit available, which is bad. But if you open up a new credit or a new line of credit, let's say for example another credit card with a max limit of $8,000, then the total amount of credit available now becomes $18,000. And with $3,000 being borrowed that that you owe, that makes your credit utilization around 16%, which is much lower than the 30% that was available, right? So what I do is I keep a few credit cards with high limits. This way, it gives me more room. So when it comes to my credit utilization, right? So if I end up using like 4,000 of my credit, it's it's not going to be so bad because I have so much more in my credit lines that it's not going to show that I'm using so much of my credit. Now, please be responsible when doing this. And I'm going to be honest, I honestly don't even feel comfortable recommending this to someone just because, if you're already someone who's maxing out your credit cards, me telling you to go ahead and get more credit, it can help you. But if you're someone that's already responsible, it's not going to work for you. I mean, I do get cards with high limits because I'm responsible and I'm aware of how to take advantage of this strategy. But to someone who is, they can't control themselves, they're maxing out their credit and then opening new lines, and then they might max out those. It might backfire on you if you're not responsible. So if you have a spending problem, then, just pay off your debt. But if that's the problem with just really a low credit limit, then go ahead and get more credit. Now, the final and worst thing that could hurt your score is bankruptcy and foreclosure. So bankruptcy is going to stay on your credit report for about 7 to 10 years, and removing it is going to be extremely difficult. But the only option for this is to look for any errors on your report and dispute this for any foreclosures. So if the lender is no longer in business, then you could dispute it, and then because no one can make a counterclaim, it would be wiped out, right? Which would honestly be amazing. But other than that, the only thing you can do is work around this and improve in every other aspect that I mentioned previously. Now, these are the only options on how to fix, a credit score with, bankruptcy or foreclosures. It's hard once you have those, but you just want to work around it. So something else you could do is just work, use other strategies. So if you found this video helpful, by the way, consider tapping that like button because it really does help with the channel growth. Now, by doing these things that I mentioned, it should boost and repair your credit score so that in the future you won't have any problems on buying that future home or getting any future auto loans or any loans. And it can help you save money in the long run. Now, with that being said, if you guys are interested, WeBull, which is an app to buy stocks and sell stocks, is holding a promotion where if you open an account with the link in my description and deposit $100, you will receive 2 free stocks, anywhere from $2 all the way to $1,400. Now, on my channel, one of the first videos I made was me opening a WeBull account and receiving a free share of Google, which at the time was worth like, I think it was like 1,200. So yeah. You just never know what free stocks you'll get, but it's definitely worth it. It's free money. All you got to do is sign up, deposit your 100, and it's guaranteed money. Obviously, You might not get the large stock. You might just get something worth $50, but hey, why not? Also, if you guys are interested in personal finance or stocks, make sure to just subscribe to the channel. I tend to focus more on trading stocks, but every now and then I do upload helpful finance videos such as this one, which you're watching. With that being said, again, guys, my name is Justin from Push and Profit, and I'm out. Peace.